So, two things is all it comes down to. Okay? On-page optimisation. What does that mean? Right words in the right place. So I'm going to show you how to find out what the right words are and what the right place is. So we'll go through that. Then link building. How do I get people pointing at my content? Well, I'll tell you how to do that. Write something interesting. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be interested in everyone, but for your target audience, it needs to be the right stuff. Okay? So we'll talk about that. It's easier said than done. As part of that, what's changed is that Google now looks at something called social signals. Social signals is how many people are talking about it. So if you can write some good content and then get loads of people talking about it on Facebook and Twitter and places like that, that all helps push you up the search engines. The more people talking about you, the more you go up. That's not to say you can just sit there and tweet 1,000 times about yourself and suddenly go to number one. What's actually going to happen is Google is looking at the quality of the conversation as well. And they've got lots and lots of factors to work these kind of things out as well. But what we're going to do is just look at these two things. Right words in the right place, how do I get links? And then I'm going to move on to social media and let's talk about those. Any questions so far? All happy-ish? Okay, good. So, search engine spiders. Rather worrying. Search engine spiders are just bits of software. Google has millions of these running all the time. They're sometimes called robots as well. They read your website. So they're out there crawling the web. That's why they're called search engine spiders. Okay? And all they're doing is they're reading your website. They don't actually care what it looks like. Okay? So HTML, don't need to worry about it, but it's basically the code that your web pages are written in. They're reading the code, not looking at the page. So you can have the most beautiful website in the world, it doesn't really care. And in fact, there's something called Flash. Flash is something you have these animated websites that spin around and have noise, and then you skip over it. Google hates it. Okay, so actually that's not a good thing. And also, if you have to skip the intro every time, it's the actual point of being there in the first place as well. So what we want is decent quality content. The spiders follow any links on our pages, and they place different emphasis on different bits of the page. You don't even need to worry about these spiders. The key point is they're looking at the words on your page. They'll be out there going through your content. The best way to get them to your website in the first place, have links from other websites pointing to you. Okay, linking from other organisations through to you and so on as well. And that's going to help the spiders look at your web pages and come back and assess your content. And they just send the stuff back to Google. Okay, so
is that like if you have a Facebook page and you put a link to another website on that Facebook page, and you go to a Twitter page, put the link to that website on there.
Exactly.
Just keep posting the link.
Yeah, so what would happen, I would generally say the way to think about it is, if it's our personal Facebook page, it doesn't work because Google can't see that stuff because it's all locked down. But if it's an open business page, that's a link through. So what you really think about is your website is where you put your content. So you've got some reports or some guides or whatever it may be. And then you use Facebook for pointing back and Twitter for linking back and LinkedIn or whatever other social platforms you're using. That's encouraging people to go to your website, but it's also helping with getting links going on as well. You also want, if you know someone that's influential, they've got a blog, would you mind linking back to us and give them a reason to link back? And that's exactly what it's about. So, what we're talking about, we should point out, is that we're talking about ethical search optimization. There are some dubious organisations who do something called black hat search optimization. We're not going to do that. And let me just explain what it actually is. So we're trying to help Google get what our web pages are about. Okay? We're just putting the right words in the place so Google can read them and go, I understand. What we could do, if we're a bit naughty, is we could go out and try and manipulate Google. And go, I know how Google works, I'm going to fiddle it so I get to number one. This is BMW in Germany. Again, we shouldn't be doing these kind of things. They had an agency that were doing this for them. And they used the black hat technique. What does that mean? Well, as a user, I came in, I saw this website as normal. It's fine. When Google came in, they redirected them to this version. And what this has got is lots of words on the page in the right place. It's called redirection. Okay? So they do that, and they think, we're going to get to number one in Google, and we're going to get away with it. What actually happens is they got banned from Google. Now, because how bad this is, you're in Germany, you search for BMW, they do not exist as far as Google are concerned for a period of time. Okay? The marketing director of BMW was sacked and moved somewhere else, and the agency that did this went bust. Now, I'm not suggesting you're going to do this, but you could get somebody to say, I'll do some SEO work for you, voluntarily doing it. You just need to make sure they're not doing this, because if you get blacklisted from Google, our kind of size businesses and organisations aren't going to get back in. BMW are too big to fail. And what I mean by that is that it looks pretty stupid for Google that you can't find BMW. So just be aware, black hat SEO bad. Give you an example. I could put white text on the screen here, on the white bit of the screen. White text, white background, we wouldn't see it. But Google's looking at the code, so Google does see it. But again, Google's smart. Google now compares the colour of your text to the colour of the background. So just forget about doing this stuff. But just be a black hat SEO bad. Okay, we don't want to do these kind of things. We're going to try and help Google, and there's some key things we need to do. First one, key phrase research. What are people searching for? What's the right words? So I just want to show you a couple of tools for doing this. Now, a bit of terminology you might come across is long tail SEO, which all it means is niche phrases. The kind of, not the big broad things that we might search for. So I'll give you an example. If I search for the word shoes, it's a very broad search. I'm going to compete with lots and lots of people if I want to be number one. Somebody searching for shoes isn't really at the point of doing something. They're broadly having a look around. Okay. Someone searching men's shoes, a bit more specific, still loads of competition. But if you get down to red Nike men's running shoes, that person is trying to buy something. They're trying to do something. Now what we need to work out, what are the phrases where someone's trying to action something? And think about, for our organisations, what are the kind of more niche things they're going to search for? So I would love to be number one for homelessness assistance or services or immigration services, whatever it may be. But the reality is that getting number one for words like that can be really hard. You're going to be competing against millions and millions of people. And actually it's the wrong traffic, it's the wrong type of people anyway. We want people with specific needs or looking for specific things. So we need to work out how they're searching, what are the right words to search for. So I'll show you two tools that tell you that and they're completely free. Okay. This is the Google keyword tool. If you search in Google for keyword tool, you will get this. It's completely free to get into it. It asks you for a captcha. A captcha, one of those impossible to read things. You have to put the characters in to prove you're a person. If you get past that, you can get into this. You put a starting word in. So I've gone really, I've put sloughing. Okay? We also want to be a bit more specific than that when you start. But it comes back and says the word slough, globally, there are 823,000 searches a month that include the word slough. Okay? Locally, being in the UK, it's saying for me up here, I can't quite read that number, there's about 550,000 searches a month. Okay? But then what it does is it suggests to me a load of other phrases and, forget the competition bit, the number of searches globally and the number of searches locally there are per month. So for example, Premier in Slough gets about 2,400 searches a month and 1,900 or 800 of those are in the UK. So what we can work out from that, well, 500 of those people are people that are coming to visit Slough from outside the UK. Okay? So you start to get the idea. So we can see Slough map, Slough gym, Slough town halls, so on and so forth. If we start with a different phrase, then we're going to get a load of other variations as well. So we need to start playing around with this and going, are people searching for these words? Okay, what kind of words they're searching for? And it will give you a rough idea of the number of people searching for these kind of terms as well. So it's making suggestions of alternative words, and then what we do, we're kind of building a list. These are the words that I probably need to get onto my web pages. So if I'm going to write some content, if I'm going to invest some time into producing content, these are the kind of words I need to start getting into that content. Okay. Make sense? Okay, people nodding, that's good. That shows me actual numbers. What I might all want to see is always trends over time. So another free tool. This is Google Trends. If you search trends in Google, it comes number one. You'll notice that every Google tool, when you search for anything to do, it comes up number one. So they do prioritise their own stuff. I've searched for jobs here, just to kind of give you a point. This tool is less good for niche terms. So if it comes up no data, you know, for a particular term, it's not great. But we can start to play. So for example, I put jobs in. I could get a lot more specific. I put the word jobs in. Why have I done that? Just to show you something. This shows me over time the trend. Okay? Now, each of these little pieces here is a year. So what do we see? Last 3 years, loads more people searching for jobs. There's lots more people unemployed, being made redundant because of financial climate. Okay? This is worldwide. We could drill into a country or a city as well. I'll see there are peaks every year in the same place. What's that? It's January. You know what that is? We come back with New Year's resolutions. I'm getting out of this job. Okay? So we see that every year. Then what happens is people go on their summer holidays. They get all fired up again. They think about jobs. Then they realise Christmas is around the corner. They think, I'll worry about this in the new year. And the same thing happens year on year. Okay, so there's a clear seasonal trend. What's this big peak here? Well, this gives us the danger of this kind of data. That's Steve Jobs dying. And everyone's searching for it. So it skews the data. Just the word jobs is used in different ways. Okay. So what I might see is, do people search for job or for jobs? I think, why on earth does that matter? Well, it matters because what you want to do is match exactly what people are searching for, exactly what's on your pages. I can go in here and compare two different words against each other. do more people search this word or phrase or this word or phrase? And it will show me. It will show me which one they search for. It'll also suggest me some other words, and then it will tell me where in the world. And we can drill this down to city level as well. It doesn't get much more granular than that. But we've got one that gives us the actual numbers of people searching, one that shows us the trends over time. And they're both free tools. If nothing else, it might give you some ideas of content, it might give you an idea of what people are actually looking for, what the things that are kind of concerning people, what are their issues and challenges as well. So if I'm writing content, I'll go in here and I'll say, well, I'm going to write about SEO for small businesses. And I'll put that in, and it will come up with 50 phrases that those kind of people are searching for.